boys rode up to Delaware to support this guy I know by the name of Roy Jones Jr. He was fighting. So I went over to hang out with him last night. I drove up, and I drove back today. I still have on the, I haven't even showered. I just hung up. Just really came straight to the studio to go to work. Haven't really eaten in hours, but I wanted to come and do this show tonight. Hey, and let you guys know that we thank you for supporting Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell. We're happy that you guys are watching. What's going on for all those people that are out there watching. I also want to say, before I go any further, I want to say happy birthday to my daughter Janae Kendrick. Well, Janae Kendrick, but we as a joke we call her Campbell Kendrick. We just want to I want to tell her happy 25th birthday. Say that we're so proud of her. She's as beautiful as ever, and let everyone know that we are really doing some big things. We're going to be showing you some commercials with like Kenny Bear's barbecue rub, which is one of the sponsors we have. There'll be a new sponsor coming. Defiant Wolf, a boxing glove apparatus that I am a part of that you guys would love to see. I'm doing the videos for that right now. Also, I have my own line of compression pants and tops coming out soon. Galaxy Warrior Wear, the gear itself will be out. And we're going to have these really cool t-shirts, like a lot of them like these kind of t-shirts that are bright and bubbly and popping. And I have this one I want to do that says the guy John runs the boards. That's going to be what the shirt says. The guy John runs the boards. Tonight we're going to talk about the LB, lesbian, gay, transgender community. And there's a Q, which is for questioning. We're going to be talking about the tolerance factor. We're going to talk about some of the numbers that are out there that support if people are born gay. We're going to talk about acceptance and tolerance. There's a difference in those two words. And we're going to talk about those. I want everyone to call in. You have a chance to call in. I think Skype is up. LDL TV Live 1 is our Skype number. You can hit us up on the telephone from your cell phones or home phones at 904-302-7220. And you can look at it. You can go to my Twitter at Nate Galaxy, Glaxxy. Or you can go to my Instagram page, which is Nate Galaxy, the same spelling without the @ And you can hit me up in my email, nate@experiencethegalaxy.com. You can watch the show live right now on LDL TV Live, which is the YouTube page. And right now you can hit us up on Periscope, experiencethegalaxy.com. Any questions you guys have, anything you want to say about what's going on in the debate, tonight is the night to talk about it, to say it. So let's get right into it. For me, I don't have a problem with gay people. I want to get that understood. Gays and lesbians don't particularly bother me. I don't particularly support the lifestyle, but I do accept the lifestyle. I'm tolerant of the lifestyle, meaning you have a right to do what you wish to do. You have a right to say what you want to say. I just don't particularly want to kiss a man, and I don't particularly want it in my space. I don't particularly want that. It's my right. That's my right. But I don't believe that a person should be killed, bullied, hurt, attacked, treated ill, anything because they're gay. But I have a right to say I don't agree with it. And my issue tonight is that so many times if you don't agree with the gay movement, you're vilified. How many times is it that someone says something about the gay movement and all of a sudden this person loses their backing? I think it was, I want to say it was Crown Royal or someone like that dropped Manny Pacquiao for his statements about homosexuals. It's downright ugly to think that in a country that's supposed to have free speech, My speech is only free when people agree with it. Freedom of speech means that I have a right to my opinion, whether they agree with it or not. I want people to understand something. I want you to call in too. 904-302-7220. I want you to call in and understand that, it's okay to disagree with me. I don't even dislike people who don't like black people, because there's some black people I don't like. But you have a right to your opinion, as long as you don't get stupid, you don't say anything ignorant, and you don't attack people. You do not have a right to take away a person's freedom of speech. I'm okay with that. And I want us to come to the realization that because we don't agree with something doesn't mean that we hate the person that we don't agree with. We just don't agree with them. And tonight I want to really dig. See, the problem is we don't talk enough about what we don't like. Because if we don't like it, others think that we hate someone because we don't agree with something. So let's get into some numbers. The Williams Institute of Law has found that an estimated 3.5% of adults in the United States identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, and an estimated 0.3% of adults are transgender. That just implies that people that's the number. It's about 9 million people. That's what it breaks down to. That being said, the majority, among adults who are gay, the majority is lesbians. I think it's 1.8%, and I think it's 1.7% that are bisexual or something to that effect. Something like that. So basically, it's a lot more people out there flip flopping. They like it. They like both. They like a little trim and a little hem, and they like that. So for me, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, when I look at the numbers, that's not a huge number, but that 9 million people. What my anger is that 9 million in America has gotten treated better than the 40 something, almost 50 million black people have. They got rules and laws passed for them out the gate almost. Considering we've been here for, black folk been here for 400 years, and we still fighting to get equal rights and equal treatment. And if you're a black man in America, you can't even get a job. So for me, I'm just here to talk about this today. I want us to talk about it. That women subsequently are more likely to be identified as bisexual than men. More than half of that is a few. Someone said that's a few. That 9 million is a few. It's a few. But when you look at how many people in America, it's only a few. 9 million is not a big number when you talk about is what? Some great crazy number, 300-something million.
330 million.
330 million people? That's not a lot of people.
3% is what they're saying.
Yeah, but 3%. But the 3% got treated better than the 14% or whatever our numbers, blacks' numbers are. Look, more women are bisexual, meaning they go both ways. That's something that women do for the most part. So for me, when I see someone says that more likely you said a woman has kids and she's gay, she's bisexual, she identifies as bisexual. But my issue is, what is it? I think bisexual is I don't know, how can you be bisexual? You either like it or you don't. Andrew Dice Clay had a joke about that many years ago. He's like, what do? Do you wake up in the morning and flip heads or tails? If it's heads, it's you take you want a piece of ass. If it's tails, it's balls. I just think that.
Well, it's complicated.
Yeah,
I think
it is complicated.
It was LGBT up until about a year ago, and then they added Q. I didn't even know what it was till I looked it up.
It's queer.
It's not queer. It's questioning.
Yeah.
But they just added that.
Right. They just added the Q, which is questioning.
So it's still changing, I think.
So here's my issue. Here's a big issue I have. With only 3% identifying as gay, how does that 3% have the power to tell me that I have to allow my children to be taught to accept them? But I know a lot of white people that teach their kids not to accept black people or interracial. I know it happens. You know, but here's the funny thing. 19 million Americans have admitted that they've engaged in same-sex relationships. You know what I'm saying? Engaged in same-sex behavior. Nearly 25.6 million Americans, 11% acknowledge at least some same-sex attraction. That's scary.
But kind of in my book, if you did it once, there's no. It's like a little pregnant. You know what I mean? You either are or you aren't, right?
I'm just gonna say if.
But that's not any disrespect. That just
it's not gonna be rude. But look.
Do you agree with that point?
Yes, a man may build 1,000 bridges and suck one dick. He is not known as a bridge builder in my book. He is forever known as a dick sucker. I mean, forever. That's just where I am. And I'm not saying that to be mean or to be rude, but acceptance is where I am. I accept what you do. I don't support what you may do, but I can accept it just fine. So with me being willing to accept it, that means I'm willing to tolerate it. But here's my issue. What if you don't tolerate the fact that I don't support it? That's the issue. They make names up for people, call them homophobe and gay basher. But there's a lot of gay people that bash straight people. They call us breeders. They have names for us too. So what do we do? What do we say to that? Because I feel like the most unapologetic about, well, not unapologetic, tolerant. The least tolerant people in America are gays because they don't have to be. They're in a position now they don't have to be tolerant. Perfect example. Kim Burrell was speaking, preaching, teaching from her Bible. And she's a preacher. She's also a singer. And she taught what her Bible teaches. That her Bible calls it filthy, calls it dirty, calls it all these things. Calls it an abomination. And she was attacked by other Christians. Like Yolanda Adams and other people were attacking this woman for preaching what the Bible she believes in says. How do you get that? How do we get to this place? What do we do? How do we get to this place? How's there any fairness there? If she's teaching what she believes, which is biblical, which is in most people's eyes takes great measures over everything, takes top priority of everything. How do we rationalize even other Christians dogging her out? And the Bible says in black and white you should stone them in the Old Testament. And the New Testament it says man should not, even I think there's several books in the Bible that speaks forwardly against it. Where's the tolerance there? Where do we get the happy medium? That we may not agree. We may not agree. I may never accept it, which I won't. I'll accept it, but I won't ever back it. I won't ever be that guy that's because, Frank Bell just sent a long tweet. I like to see if I can get Frank to call me. Frank, why don't you give me a call at 904-302-7220. 904 302 7220. And my issue is, I'm in a place now where look, I teach against it. I teach my kids against it. I teach my grandkids against it. I'll always teach against it because I was taught that it was wrong. But let's really be honest. Let's talk about the natural order of life. Does not anyone not see that as an unnatural act at all?
Well, you probably don't if you're gay.
I mean, I'm asking.
You know.
I mean, if you're straight, don't you say it's unnatural? Because you have straight people that accept it.
Well, I did a bunch of research on this, which I was surprised at the research. So I'm going to roll down to it. Now, I'm going to give you a stat that's not going to surprise you. That they've done a lot of studies of trying to figure out whether there's a gene. Okay, and that's come up blank. Then they have gone towards the idea that something happens in the womb. Now, there's a hard fact out there that you can't get away from. The hard fact is that in a family where there are multiple males born, each successive male is 200 or two. What's the number I want to look for? Twice as likely to be gay as the predecessor, and it's exponential. So the third, fourth male. So that's a fact in society. If you're just so they did studies to try to figure out hormonally what was happening. They thought that there might be something hormonally happening in a woman's womb, and there's been several studies about that. They still haven't been able to nail it down. They haven't been able to pinpoint the hormone theory. So the research that I did is still saying, hey, it's not. But if you survey people and just ask them, I'm going to scroll down this because I think, let me see if I can see it here. But I'm going to tell you something that you probably already understand, is that LGBTQ people are more likely to believe that it's something hormonal or genetic than people who are don't identify as LGBT, non-LGBT people, for the purposes of this, which would be the 80 to 90% of people. They don't believe that that you're born that way, or it's not the majority of them, but less of those people believe that you're born with it, and they believe that it's a lifestyle choice. So I think that's where your argument begins here.
Right. My argument starts with me because I know, without a doubt, it's a lifestyle choice. And I'm going to say, this is why I know it is. And I'm not saying that I have scientific proof. Let's talk about scientific proof. Let's go there. I forget her name. Her name is Dr. Joyce. I forget her last name. Gromedy. I forget her. She did a study on the father of modern science of anthropology, and what he did was basically put his own thoughts about black people and how they acted and carried themselves, and he wrote this stuff out, and it became law because he, first of all, put it in books, and he used the word scientific proof. That is the one thing. If it's in a book, most people will tell you, know what I'm saying, we won't believe it unless we say, what is your proof? Well, there is no proof that people are born gay. But I posted it on my page. There's a doctor who proved that some of the things that they were putting, the chemicals they were using, were making male frogs turn female. And he's basically saying those same things are working against humans as well.
Well, no one's disproved it, that's for sure.
Right, and they can't. And they were dogging him. But I got Samantha Benton. She said, we all people that want to be loved. Why judge? We're not judging. So that's the thing. I want to say this, and I'm looking at both feeds now. I'm doing that for a reason tonight, because if Samantha, I would love for her to call in 904-302-7220. and we can talk about it on air. She can state her points. But here's the issue. True, we all want to be loved, and we all want to be treated fairly. But I also want to be treated fairly. I believe that it's wrong. I don't think that it's, even if it's right or wrong, I think that it's not something I want my grandkids and my kids taught in school. And I feel like by being taught these kinds of things and having to introduce these things to our children is a bad thing for me. I have an issue with that. As a parent, as a grandparent, I have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just want people to come to the realization and understanding that people that don't agree with it don't hate it, are afraid of it, or we just don't support it.
Do you think there's just different levels of people with their acceptance? I do. I think there's people who have gay friends all around them, and they're straight. I think there's people that are completely accepting, maybe have a couple. I think there's different levels of it. I mean, I know where you're going with it.
The number is 904-302-7220. 904-302-7220. Hello, how you doing?
Well, good evening.
How you doing? Who goes there?
Yeah, Kurt Hurt, by the way.
How you doing? It's Curtis. Curtis is actually in the studio. Curtis, you don't have to call in because you're in the studio. You can just talk to the mic.
No, I'm choosing to call in because in the description of what you're saying bisexual and ideologically that, I mean, you're talking to, this is an individual speaking that was homophobic. I hated gays, disliked them by far. I had no interest in ever being around them. Then moved myself into a neighborhood in Riverside, in Jacksonville, Florida, and find myself friendly in the sense of voluntarily hanging out with them, speaking with them, find an intellectual aspect of the individuals that are gay, and realizing, I mean, it's being accepted of it is closely remotely to not being accepted because the lifestyle that they have, they literally don't have to do it publicly. And that's the worst thing about society today. They're willing to do it publicly and not keep within themselves, and they own homes and they own to themselves, and that's an issue because that's what our children don't need. Because then that's fine acceptance of it. Now, like how you were saying, Nate, that you accept it, like you find acceptance of it as far as being voluntarily around them, hanging out with them, having a conversation with them, being friendly, but in the sense of them trying you or thinking that you're of that nature or some type of gay or bisexual. That's the issue with a lot of things in today, and that's what I'm seeing.
Okay. Thank you, Curtis. Well, I respect that. I have to tell people. Someone called in. You called back. I want you to call back in. Whoever that was that called in. It was a 554 number.
Yeah, it was a 904 number.
904-554 number, something like that. I want people to understand something. It's okay, to not agree with someone. One moment. Hold on one moment. Hello?
Yeah, something's wrong. I'm going to disconnect that.
All right, you call back in.
Tell them to call right back.
It's okay to not agree with somebody, but to bully someone, to treat someone unfairly, to be mean to people, I'm not for that. People don't understand. A lot of people think that because I disagree with something, I can't love someone who is that way, is gay. That's not true. That's not true. But the problem is we gotta be able to say, well, I may not agree with what you're doing, but I still love you in the end. And that's our issue.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Who goes there? Hello?
Yes, this is Samantha Benton.
How you doing, Miss Benson? How you doing? Thank you for calling in. And I was reading what you said. You said could you restate what you said? Could you turn down?
I just feel like.
Hold on.
I just feel like.
Ma'am.
I feel like.
Hold on.
Yes.
Could you turn down whatever that is in the background because you're picking it up over there?
It's me listening to you. I feel like I wasn't raised to be gay or bisexual. Everything happened for a reason. You didn't teach me to be gay. You didn't teach me. You raised me good. My mom raised me good. Angela Blue raised me good. I'm from Parish. I'm from A Street. I wasn't raised to be gay. I wasn't raised by that. He was my godfather as a child growing up in the 80s, Shatique Blue. I wasn't raised to be gay, but something happened to me as a child, so I wouldn't want nobody to judge me at all for how I am. But with the Lord Jesus Christ, I used to be bisexual. I used to be gay. But I did see something in my heart that it's not right.
Okay. Okay.
It's not right.
Okay. Here's my point. Here's my point. And multiple studies have shown that the average young man or young woman that is gay or identifies as gay in the black community has been molested,
Yes.
or taken advantage of by someone in their family. That's why my argument is simply this. First of all, I don't hate gay. I don't hate gay people at all.
Yes.
But
yes, sir.
I do not believe that you are born gay. I believe that circumstances put people in position to react off of actions that have been perpetrated against them in their bodies and look.
I just feel like I would feel like when as a little child growing up, running down 8th and Perry, 8th and below, I always wanted to be with the boys. But what you're saying, you're right. You're right. Because I feel like it's a chemical, something in our brain. And at the same time, I wasn't born like that. But some way, somehow, me being around so many boys, wanting to be like them, I don't feel like it transferred me to used to be gay or bisexual, because I'm not gay, I'm not bisexual anymore. But I'm telling you, that's a hell of a thing, because you don't get a blessing. You have nothing but negativity come. You don't get blessed. You have so much stress. You have so much on you. But at the same time, you can't judge nobody. Judge you not, says the Lord.
Okay. All right.
And we love each other as one.
Right, exactly. No, okay, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna make my statement about it. Thanks for calling in. Okay. I like what she said. She made the statement. She said, which a lot of, for me, religion, I take religion off the table on this. Because I like what she said, though. She basically said it was her choice. Her statement was, it was her choice. That being said, is this. We have to be willing to live with our choice. My argument is, why in the name of everything that is real and has founded information behind it, why would we say we were born a certain way when it's a choice? And now we're making laws for choices. It's almost to the fact that someone is calling in, almost to the fact that someone is saying, if I kill somebody and they make a law for it, as long as I feel like it was okay, it's cool. How you doing?
What's going on, Jim?
Who goes there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Who goes there?
Hey, this is Andre Knight.
Hey, Andre, how you doing, man? What have you? I pretty much know where you going. I know how you gonna go there. but I want people to look. I want you to speak your mind on this one. It's all about healthy conversation. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, basically, with the conversation, when everybody's speaking on the LGBT community, it is everybody's going up in the uproar saying that, okay, well, we can't support this without supporting that. Well, how I feel about the situation is this. I'm looking at history when it goes back to it. And when you go back to it, you see what happened. You understand what happened to the black man. And when you go back and look in history and see this is what was done to the black man, and then now you see it everywhere, and they have a holiday for it, and everybody is, hey, man, accept me for this and accept me for that. You cannot be born that way. You understand? There's no child on earth that is born a homosexual or he's gay or whatever, or he feel like he's trapped inside a woman's body. No, that's not possible. You know what I mean? That's just not physically possible for you to be feeling like you are a different gender when you're born a man.
Okay. And
I'm going to show you something. A lot is going
Hold on, because I want to say this. I know some people that will throw all kinds of books at you and give you all kinds of data that's been compiled, which has been paid for by the LGBT community, and they will compile all these things and tell you that there are all these different kinds of sexual orientations. And they will tell you that it is phenomenally wrong for you to believe that they weren't born this way.
Of course.
Now listen to this. Watch this. Should society accept homosexuality throughout the world? Throughout the world, I want to see what Russia has to say about it. Russia says 70%, 74% no. Russia is one of the highest in the world, and in Russia you can't even carry on in public in any way that is gay, anything considered to be gay. They do not play about that. Now, watch this. Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, all 90% or better. Tunisia, not accepting. Jordan, Egypt, all 95 or better. And when you say this to people throughout, you know what I'm saying? When you say this to people throughout your conversation, and you tell them that Africans will tell you for the most part, there's no practice. They don't believe in that. And so that if they are gays, they ain't in public saying they were born that way. So you can make an excuse that you were born a certain way if it is allowed. The allowance of a thing makes it more prevalent in a place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reason why it's outlawed is because that is the correct way. And a lot of people, they'll go against it. They'll say, no, that's not right. You know, you can't discriminate. Well, if you cannot discriminate against that community, how come you can discriminate against mine so quick?
Ooh.
You know, this has been proven
that's the point.
many times, over and over and over again.
That's the pivotal point of this conversation. Why is it that it is so easy for a gay person to say, I feel discriminated against and laws are passed? But blacks had to march. Blacks had to be stoned, hung from trees, burned, attacked by dogs, water hoses, to just get no offense. Do you realize that the average black man will tell you he feels today as his ancestors did in the 60s? The average black man. That is the truth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I guarantee you the average gay doesn't feel that way.
No, because it's no history looking up at. Okay, well you're gay, so you're gonna be stoned, and you're gonna be this and that. No, everything that was done within the history books, that's because it was made so that to happen that way. You understand? Everything that happened to us is not. You can't just say, well, yeah, but no, there's but because there's no other race that had to endure that.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? And when you go on that level, far as saying, okay, well, how come we can accept Black Lives Matter movement, but we can't accept this gay movement of it because we're the ones that's being killed.
I'm gonna show you something.
We're constantly asking.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna let you hang up. Thank you for calling, and I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you might want to call back. But I'm gonna let you hang up now. Thanks for calling, Andre. How many times have you guys laughed when you heard gay people say that gay is the new black? You've seen those. You've seen those, right? You guys know that the Black Lives Movement is basically a gay movement. It's not even a black funded movement, by the way.
What? Explain.
Okay. Black Lives Matter is funded by a white guy named George Soros.
Right, we know who he is.
Okay. But it's ran by gay women. If you go to the Black Lives Matter website, pull up their mission statement. Pull up the Black Lives Matter mission statement. And my thing is, everybody attaches themselves to civil rights, and they want to liken themselves to black people when there's no one like black people. There's no race on the planet. Even Africans in Africa aren't like black people in America. Because if you hurt Nigerians, Nigerians will stand up for Nigerians. But there's no country that stands up for black people in America. Outside of, and even America doesn't stand up for us for the most part. That's why we haven't gotten reparations. Because all the black countries got together and said, you treating our people ill, they deserve this 6 trillion or 8 trillion or 9 trillion or 10 trillion, whatever we're going to settle for. It wouldn't keep going on. See, if Black Lives Matter is about Black lives, it shouldn't be anything else in the mission statement but Black lives, right or wrong. Shouldn't be about gays, shouldn't be about lesbians, shouldn't be about transgenders. It should just be about who? Blacks. Because if the subgroup is more important than the group itself, then there's a problem. The subgroup should never be more important than the whole. So what I'm simply saying is, where are we going from here? When is it really going to be about, tolerance? If it's tolerance, it should be about tolerance. Because I would tolerate gay men, gay women, whatever. But now we're taking it a step further. It's about making me accept it now. And I'm going to show you what I mean. How many of y'all heard the fact that now they've allowed, I think it's transgenders, to go in the bathroom of their choice? I think first people to do it was the store Target. They lost my business. I won't even walk in the store. As a matter of fact, Target also decided, I read somewhere sometime back, I don't know if they've done it yet, that they're not going to have gender specific clothing. I'm just telling you what I read.
Slightly confusing.
There you go. And if I'm not mistaken, they were sending at one time a letter home in California that you weren't supposed to teach your kids their gender identity. You're supposed to let them figure it out on their own. These are the things that are being pushed on our children because it's not about tolerance. It's about making me accept something that I don't want to accept. Because if it was about tolerance, you'd ask me first before you did these things. And so my thing is this. When is it going to be about gays tolerating the fact that I don't agree with something? I don't like it, so I don't want to. I'm not saying I don't like you. I just don't. Look, people can't smoke in my house. Now, I don't have a sign up either. But if you come to my house, there are no ashtrays in my house. I don't own an ashtray at all. I think I have some decorative ashtrays that have never been pulled out, but I don't own an actual ashtray in my home. So that would lead you to believe that what? I don't want smoking in my home, right? Am I wrong for that? Or do smokers take their smoking outside and smoke? That's what they're gonna have to do. That's the way. But that's not me not tolerating them. That's just saying in my space we don't do this. So when is it gonna be my right to say I don't think that I want my grandkids or my kids being subjected to these kind of actions? Is it fair? Is it fair? When does the fairness for straight people come forward? Because we know that gays don't want to be discriminated against. We know that they don't want to be treated any kind of way. We know that. We know that. And in a country like America, where 33% of people to 60% of people have said they don't accept homosexuality. Why is homosexuality being pushed so hard in this country? When one third of the people accept it, but the other 2/3 don't, basically. Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, because if this is a democratic country, shouldn't it go by the number of people that voted against it, opposed to those that voted for it, or vice versa? And my issue is that we have to come to the realization that fair is fair. I don't want to take your rights away, but what I also don't want to do, have a call coming through. What I also don't want to do is be made to accept something I don't like. Good evening. Who goes there?
Yes, this is Calvin. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I cannot complain. I'll try not to be long. Enjoy the show and the topic. I think a big thing too that has really happened, and I want to kind of go back to don't ask, don't tell.
Ooh.
I think that was the beginning when the gay movement became politicized. Let's garner some votes, even in the Democratic Party. I think it kind of sprung board where political aspects came into play to really push this movement as well. To the point of, I don't want to make this a total political issue, but
it is. It is totally political as well as personal.
Right. I will personally. There's certain things I don't understand. When we talk about choices, I have my own personal choices and who I date, and everybody does. But this notion that I have to accept or I have to acknowledge, it's just, you're so right. It's pushed on us in such a way. I don't know if you heard even today, Texas was going to follow the lead to go ahead and ban transgender bathrooms and their choices, and now they're coming out the woodwork with we'll take away the mighty dollar. We won't bring Super Bowls to Texas. We won't bring this, and it's just this force that is being pushed on those that, and I'm with you. I have no problem. I will not discriminate against someone who is gay, but I do not have to accept if my belief is that it's a choice and one that I don't agree with. In other words, if I'm a pastor, I shouldn't be made, if I don't believe in a union between two men or two women.
I shouldn't be made to marry them.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to do that.
But you know what the sad part about it is? Like I said, I do my best to keep religion out of it as much as possible, because I want to step through the natural aspect as well as the political aspect, those parts that a lot of people can deal with. If you believe that me and you are the same, that's cool. That means that you have a set of choices and opinions. I have a set of choices and opinions. There may be some opinions and choices that I make and have that you may not like. And that may cause us to have a parting in our where we are there. But that doesn't mean we part as people. It just means that I don't agree with what you do, or vice versa. Because if you have a drug addict in your family, I bet you ain't going to just leave him in your house with your good stuff.
That's right.
Everybody got that.
That's right.
Everybody got that cousin, Uncle Bobby. Everybody got Uncle Bobby.
Right.
You just can't. No, we love Uncle Bobby, but you can't leave him in there with your purse, baby. And that's okay. But when do we have the right to say that about homosexuals? We can say that about Uncle Bobby, the crackhead, but we can't say that about Sugarfoot, our gay cousin. And the truth of the matter is, fair is fair. I should have the right to speak my mind either way. And we finna get ready to go to commercial in about a minute or so. But thank you for calling in, Kevin. If you want,
all right, Nate,
if you want to call back, you can call back. But here's my issue. We gotta have the right. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have the right to state our opinion and be okay with that, and not be chastised and punished for it. Thank you. Come on back, baby. Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell.
You're watching Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell, the only show streaming live on Ustream, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Hi, Billy C. here. I want to talk to you about Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano serves the freshest and finest homemade Italian cuisine with Sal's family recipes from the old country. Sal's incredibly delicious brick oven pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. And I'm from New York. Come join us today on St. Simon's Island in the beautiful Golden Isles of Georgia. We're located at exit 29 off of I-95. Sal's is open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, with private parties available on Sundays. For more information, call 912-268-2328 or go to salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano, where new faces become old friends, and our family tradition is to serve you the very best.
Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C. gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Hey, we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
VelDL TV and Billy C. Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C. Now banner. Billy C. Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event. You're watching Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell, the only show streaming live on Ustream, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live.
And we're back. Well, had some good calls in the last segment. Now, we're going to talk a little bit now about the good versus bad laws that were passed. The ACLU throughout throughout the years have talked about some bills. There were 70 bills introduced in 2016. And 6 of those were good laws that passed. Only one bad law was passed. What do we have to say about the overall movement? I mean, overall, 48 out of 501 laws that were introduced were passed. That were good. 8 out of 252 that were bad were passed. The LBGT is winning.
LG.
Yeah.
LG.
LG. I said LG. The LGBT is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender Q is winning, and I'm not mad about that. But is it fair that because they get rights, that they erode our rights away? And my question to you guys is, do you feel that your rights are being eroded away every day when it comes to this movement for 9 million people? So 9 million people, roughly 9 million people that identify as gay, solid gay, or bisexual, or transgender, or lesbian. Do you feel like they should have more rights than me? They should have the same rights as me. And that's my issue. That my rights, I feel like my rights are being backdoored, backshelved, for the rights of someone else who now you have them telling me what I can and can't say. Basically tell me what I can and can't believe.
Well, my question to you is, Nate, I don't know what these laws are containing, but what rights are they getting that you think you're being, what specific, just the ones that you know of? Okay, so the big ones are, gay marriage is passed. What rights do you think are being taken away from you?
Okay, not even taken away. They have a right that I can't have. I'm going to show you something.
Yep.
Gay people can get married now, just like straight people can get married now. Okay? Here's my issue. For years, you've been telling me that it was wrong for a man to have multiple wives. But for years, you told me that it was wrong for a man to marry a man or a woman to marry a woman. But you've accepted that before you accept a man having multiple wives? That bothers me. There's something fundamentally wrong with that. See, and I know the reasoning behind that. Do you know the reason behind that, John?
No.
Well, the reasoning behind them not accepting or
polygamy, we're talking about.
Polygamy is not accepted because if polygamy was accepted, the government would lose power.
Why is that?
Because they would lose the ability to stop you from growing wealth. Okay.
Expound on that.
Okay. If a husband has 3 wives, say he has 3 wives, that's 3 incomes in one home. More than likely, they'll start their own business. You know what I'm saying? They'll start their own business. 3 incomes in the home. Or 2 incomes and one person taking care of the kids. You got a woman that is educated, that can teach kids. You don't go to school no more. You get enough of that, you no longer need the school system. And there's no way for them to allocate money. No offense. You build wealth. You build wealth by doing this. You ain't going to have no child support issues with that father and his kids. Why not? Because the kids are going to be in the house with the father. The average man, black man, that gets in trouble is in trouble for child support. Do you get that?
Yeah, I don't know what the stats are on it.
It's horrible. But if a woman if there are more men in the home, and these children saw their daddy love their mother, even in place of loving their mother and loving their other mother, it's more natural than 2 men being together or 2 women being together. But they won't allow the more natural progression over the unnatural progression. Because I'm going to be honest.
Well, it was a part of the Mormon church for a whole bunch of years.
It was a part of the biblical, in the biblical days, the biblical church actually. Because David had multiple wives. Solomon had multiple wives. Biblically. Let's think about this. And I want you to really get what I'm saying.
I mean, it's still that way in those Saudi Arabia, I can tell you that much.
Not that I want a second wife. I'm just saying it's a wealth building process. And then you begin to marry say you have a family and you're wealthy. You now marry just like the royals did. You ain't just going out and marrying any old body. You marry somebody that has something to bring to the family. And they're putting their wealth together. That's what it's about. But you're not doing that with the homosexual movement. The homosexual movement is destroying the traditional family. Because let me explain something to you. There's nothing on your body made for a man, or vice versa. Nothing on a woman's body made for a woman. I feel like it's the most selfish relationship you can have. There's nothing more selfish than a gay relationship, male or female. You can't procreate at all. Even if you can build wealth and you can't have kids. Say you don't have kids, you don't adopt kids. Your wealth doesn't go anywhere. If half of America's people were gay, straight gay, I'm not talking gay, bisexual, I'm talking gay, we wouldn't be here long.
Say that again?
If half of America's people were gay.
Oh, 50% instead of 3.
How long you think we last? Wars don't get fought. You know, America needs a good war every now and then.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have one soon.
Yeah. You know, you know what? Dr. Ulysses Morgan. Pastor Dr. Ulysses Morgan. I would love for you to call me at 904-302-7220. 904-302-7220. See, I need somebody who's going to speak the church's position on this, because I can't speak the church's position on this wholly. And, or at least his church's position. But there's so much going on now where I feel like the church has been infiltrated by the government to the point that, if you really want to be honest, the church is being ran by the government in most cases. Donald Trump has already decided he wants to destroy the separation of church and state. He said it out of his own mouth. And when the government controls your spirituality, boy, we're in trouble. But in most cases they do already, because they give a lot of these black churches grants. So what I'm saying is simply, I want people to chime in. I got a 229 number coming in right now. Hello, is this Dr. Ulysses Morgan?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, Dr. Morgan? Glad to have you on.
Fine, thank you.
You made a statement. You cannot reconstruct a foundation and not damage the structure that it supports. I like that.
Right.
Explain yourself.
When the foundation, when we're talking about homosexuality, the foundation that everybody knows started with Adam and Eve. God made them male and female. Okay, now when you try to change that structure, then you change everything that's associated with it. Male and female had a purpose in life. And so when you get to the point where you're changing the male to the female and the female into the male, then you're changing the purpose. And when you change the purpose, then therefore you do damage, which is not successful to society.
Right. So I'm going to throw something out there. And I'm going to help a lot of people get this that may not get this. I know a lot of people get this, but I'm going to give it to them in a great illustration. Say you have a speaker, and that speaker plays well. But instead of using that, it's plugged up and it works. But you're sitting on top of that speaker. It's your speaker. You can sit on top of it because you paid for it. Right? That's your choice. Right. That's your choice. But that doesn't make that speaker a chair anymore than that chair. This chair that I'm sitting in, a speaker. It's still a speaker. You're just sitting on it. And that's basically where you're going here. That even though you say that they can be married, that woman's still supposed to be somebody's wife, and that man's supposed to be somebody's husband.
Exactly. And one of the things that I often look at is that when that was made male and female, they were to be fruitful and multiply. You cannot be fruitful and multiply
That's what I've been getting.
If you are intertwined with the same sex, you can't do it. So what do? You adopt, and then you call that your child. But then how often can you do that? Because when reproduction ceases, there's not going to be less people to adopt.
There you go. And my issue is simply this: I brought this to fruition for a lot of people. I said it's going to come to fruition if you're not careful. It is almost impossible for you to tell me that America can be that bass-ackward as to believe that homosexual, 2 males or 2 females would be better for a child as a parent, as a parental unit, than a male and a female. I don't care.
Impossible.
Because you know why? You need both energy. That child needs to understand what both energies are about.
Exactly. Exactly.
Both energies are different.
Exactly.
I don't care if you got a feminine male and a masculine male. They still have their energies are still the same.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa with women. And now what has happened is, by doing these things, you have a confused generation.
Right. Exactly. I can always tell when a child has been raised by a single parent. Doesn't necessarily make the child bad. It doesn't necessarily mean that the child is going to go bad. But I can definitely tell in the character of a child when they're only raised by one person. That child is not as balanced as they would have been with both parents.
And you know what? My father raised me, for the most part. Then I was put in foster care, and my foster mother, who was by herself, raised me. And then I was put in foster care again with my cousin and her husband, Margaret Mosley and Lewis Mosley and Margaret Mosley. He worked every day. She worked every day. I see them as the most perfect, the perfect black family. To me, they were the Huxtables before the Huxtables. To me, they lived in a good neighborhood, which was a great neighborhood then, which is falling down some in the eyes of a lot of people, but great neighborhood still to me. And that positive and negative energy showed me the balance that I was missing. And
exactly,
my father made me tough, hard, coarse. But my mother was also tough, hard, and coarse because her father raised her, for the most part. It makes you, like you say, unbalanced. And what we don't want is to have a group of unbalanced people. We need balance. So we need to have the father and the mother back in the home.
Exactly. You need to have the father. You need to have a father in the house as a father, and you had to have a mother in the house as a mother. You can't have 2 mothers and one of them act like the father, because it's not going to work. You can't be what you're not. You can act like it, but you can't be it.
I say this on a regular basis. Boxing gloves are very, very, very special. You know why they're special? They're some of the most special gloves. Some boxing gloves are some of the most special gloves. You can't even put your hand in the wrong glove.
Okay.
You can't even put your
Good
hand.
example.
You can't even put your hand in the wrong glove.
Good example.
You can do everything you can, and it just won't work. You can
It
do
ain't
it.
gonna work.
You can do it, but it ain't gonna work. So I thank you very much for calling in, Pastor. Thank you very much. Thank you for your.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. So that is Pastor Dr. Ulysses Morgan Jr. And listen, my issue is simply this. We are consistently telling ourselves that it's wrong for people to not want to associate themselves with the lesbian, gay, transgender, LGBTQ, whatever it is. I'm having a hard time with it. I just have always had a hard time with it. But I went to a class. I had to go to a class about this when I was working for the PAL. And it was about trying to make me more tolerant. Now, mind you, anybody who knows me knows that I'm me. And I ain't finna stop being anything else. And there was a young kid that was in my class, and he would always be chewing gum. I don't mean chewing gum. I mean, when he talked to me, he'd be popping and see Mr. Campbell. I told him one day, I said, let me tell you something. You gonna stop popping your mouth like you chewing bubble gum, son. Young men don't do that. Young men speak their piece, say what they have to say, and they're stern about this. I there ain't nothing wrong with the way he was popping that mouth. Boy, that thing bothered me. I said, you ain't got no chewing, you ain't got no bubble gum in your mouth, and you steady. And he would pop that thing in your earring. I said, Lord have mercy. Come to find out, this kid had a mother and a father living in the house. But the mother was the overbearing one in the home. The father was more docile. And because this young man saw that, he began to emulate the mother. And she would pop her mouth when she talked to you. She was like, Mr. Campbell, I was just saying, I was asking Ronnie, because I don't know whatever his name was, if he had, if you had anything special, anything you could do to help him, because see, he having a hard time with his multiplication problems. And the daddy came in, he was soft as cotton, soft as doctor's cotton. And I'm thinking to myself, ain't no win for Shorty. He got a daddy, but his daddy absent by proxy. He absentee daddy by, I'm like, we gotta somebody call in. We gotta do better. You gotta stand in your role, man. If you're a man, be a man. How you doing? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? Who goes there?
Huh?
Who goes there?
Yeah, my name's Marvelous Marwan.
Marvelous Marwan. How you doing, Marwan?
Hey, doing good, doing real good. How about yourself, brother?
I'm good. How you feel about what's going on, the topic today?
Man, phone stop breaking up. I mean, it's my take on it is it's society made it okay now. So whenever you make something okay, it piques people's curiosity to say, you know what, let me go and try it now. You know what I'm saying? It makes it okay to say, hey, let me go and try this out. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's happening, more than anything. It's just, us society, and if you talk back about it, then you're in the wrong. Hey, we're going to look at you different because you have a different opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit my 2 cents on it.
You know what? And you know what my issue is? I said the same thing. I said you'll see an influx of homosexuality in couples and groups pop up. You'll have that pop up when they accept it. And I'm going to show you something. Do you know that the Nazis were a small party at one time in Germany? But
nope. I didn't know that. No.
They were very small. They were a small percentage at one time. And Hitler went to prison. They were a small group. Hitler came back, and the acceptance of the Nazi party is what spawned Hitler. It spurned him into power.
He was an artist out on the street.
He was
selling paintings.
Selling paintings. He was. So what I'm saying to you is be very careful. Be very careful about what you accept and allow, because it could be a whole lot different if nobody says anything about it.
Definitely, absolutely. I agree with you, 100%. Now, here's the thing. Some people from birth, even most of us who, you grow up in the hood doing positive stuff, you always could tell which one who going to turn up gay. You know what I'm saying? That was the one that was naturally playing with the dogs. That was just, he could have both mom and dad, but he was off. You could just tell someone was off.
Marwan, that's not true. And I'm going to tell you why it's not true. See, listen. I hear people say this all the time. He always been like that. Well, guess what? Say a kid is killing birds and maiming dogs. What happens to that? What do the parents do to that kid?
If they kill them, if they're doing wrong, they're going to whoop their ass. I mean, they're going to beat the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? You mean if they're killing dogs and animals? You said they kill. I can kind of break it up a little bit there.
Right. They're going to spank them, pop them, make them stop. Listen, let me tell you a story. The first article ever done on me in the Ring magazine was called "Never Bet Against a Man That Will Bite a Cat's Tail Off." I bit a cat's tail clean off when I was a kid.
Ooh,
I was a mean little bastard, and I didn't.
Like my son.
I wasn't being. My grandmother told me that a cat would always land on his feet, so I took the cat. We had those old-fashioned shotgun houses downtown Jacksonville, and they had the tall downstairs, and the upstairs was even taller, and it was a double balcony. So I threw the cat off. The cat landed on his leg, on his feet. So
Yeah.
I knew Grandma didn't know what she was talking about. I was gonna prove her wrong. So I jumped down behind the cat and caught it again and took it upstairs to the second story. Now, mind you, this cat
about to kill this cat.
Yeah, I mean, I was a badass little kid, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. But that kid, I had on a t-shirt, tank top t-shirt, and no, I had a t-shirt, a baggy t-shirt on, a little baggy t-shirt than usual. I had my cousin t-shirt on actually. And so I take the cat and I'm gonna throw him off the side of the house, and I'm gonna watch him go down and see if he land. So I ran back with that cat to swing him out, and the cat grabbed my shirt and I threw him and let him go. As I let him go, he had my shirt and ran back down my arm with them sharp claws, hit me with them sharp claws.
Hell yeah.
And that cat hit me on the chest with one of them. He hit me on the chest with one of them claws. I said, ow! And I went and, ow!
Christ.
And the cat tail went in my mouth. Not the whole tail, but about 3 inches from the end. And I lit down on that cat's tail, and that cat hollered, holler like a grown-up with hot water on it. My grandmother came running out of the house. She said, "What you?" Her favorite name was Bad Fucker. That was she. I was always into something, man. She said, and she called my daddy. She said, "Junior." They call him Junior. Come out here and see what this boy doing. And my daddy said, "What are you doing, Booby?" I said, "Daddy, I was." Grandmama, and I'm going to blame it on Grandmama. Grandmama said that the cat always laying on his feet, and I threw it downstairs and it landed on his feet. But I was going to come up top and see if the cat, would lay on his feet. And my daddy said, "Look, let me tell you something. I'm not raising a serial killer. I'm not raising a serial killer. I don't want you bothering these damn animals. Birds. I don't want you bothering nothing. Mosquitoes. I don't want you bothering nothing. You hear me?" He said, "Because I'm not raising a serial killer." And my daddy told me not to bother the cat and them dogs no more out there. I never did it again. But it's different if a kid is effeminate as a male or masculine as a girl. Yeah. We just accept it. Rather than correct that behavior, we accept it. So what?
Agree. Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay.
What happens if my daddy don't accept that? He accepts that behavior. And I grew up killing women next, other people. He's allowed to graduate into something else. I'm gonna give you one even better. I'm gonna give you one even better. Oh. You ever heard of Baby Alive?
Who?
Baby Alive. Well, Baby Alive was the first baby doll to come out. You could lay the baby doll down and the eyes were closed, and you could sit that baby doll up and the eyes were open. Oh, you remember Baby Alive?
Yeah.
Well, Baby Alive is still around today. And my daddy came in the house. My daddy was Geechee. My dad was Geechee. My daddy say, "Look here." My cousin had that baby doll. I wanted to see why that fucking baby doll eyes kept moving. I wanted to see so bad. I didn't want to play with the baby doll. I wanted to pop that baby doll's head off and figure out why that baby doll's eyes were closed when she laid it down. That's what I really wanted. Okay. My daddy said, he said, "Let me tell you something. If I catch you playing that motherfucking baby doll, I'm gonna bust your head wide open. Hear me?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "You hear what I'm saying?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, if I catch that baby doll, I'm going to bust your head wide open. You hear me? Boys don't play with dolls. I said, "Yes, sir." Now, my cousin kept taunting me with that baby doll. She kept laying that baby doll down and picking it. And them eyes, man, I wanted to know why this baby doll eyes was opening and closing.
Yeah.
So my daddy walked out of the house to go across the street to our house from my aunt's house. We live right across the street from each other. I picked that baby doll up. Man, and I laid that baby doll down and I was shaking it. I wasn't playing with it, but I wanted to figure this thing out. And just as I was getting ready to pop that baby doll head off, I remember hearing a high-pitched squeal in my ear. Boo! That's what my daddy popped me in my ear and knocked me on the floor. And I looked up, I said, "I wasn't playing with it, Daddy." He said, "Yes, you was." He said, "Because I told you not to pick that little motherfucker up." He said, "I told you don't play with baby dolls." My daddy popped me so hard, I told my cousin I ain't want to play with his G.I. Joe. There it is, Baby Alive. I told that little black baby on that little black baby to the left right there. That's the new Baby Alive. The old Baby Alive ain't have no hair. But my daddy hit me so hard, I thought he bust my eardrum. But look here, I wouldn't even play with my cousin. My cousin had a $6 million man action figure. and you can look through the back of his head, look out the front of his eye, I said, "No, I'm good, cuz you keep that one. I don't want to play with him. He look too much like Baby Alive to me." But that's the point. The problem is as parents, we're not allowed to say, "No, you don't do that. We're not having that. We're not having that. We're not having that. We're not doing that. You're not doing that." And you know why? Society has told us if we do that, we're bad parents.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah, absolutely.
5 minutes.
Can you give that same Nate? Can you give that same treatment to the women though?
No. Oh, whoa. I'm gonna give you one. I have 3 daughters. My daughter Jade played basketball in college. I explained to my daughters early on, even I'm not in the church, don't do the church like that anymore. I don't do none of that. I told my daughter, look here, don't you come in with no woman. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. We ain't friends no more. I want grandkids and you can't get them from her. You owe me grandkids. You owe me to be a good mother. Your mother was a good mother. You owe it to her and I to be a good mother. You need a good husband. I think I was a pretty good husband once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
And the dynamic of the black family is the one that's really being hurt with homosexuality. With the black men at the 51% rate in America being in prison, and then with the black woman at 23%, the black family is being greatly affected by this homosexual movement.
Absolutely.
Even more.
I agree. No, I agree.
So that's the way I see it. It's not gonna change. I just believe that we as a people got to be stronger about saying no. We don't agree with it. We don't support it, but we love you. That's my thing. I love you. I may not like your lifestyle and your choice, but I love you. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you because people are mad at you for what you chose to do. But I don't agree with it. But because I don't agree with it, don't mean I don't love you. And that's that we gotta get to that place. That's why I think
absolutely. And you probably, and being in a position, you probably still are not going to discriminate on someone. Just say, hey, I'm not going to give you a job because you're gay, or hey, I'm not going to let you serve me food because you're gay. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. There was once upon a time I thought like that. But But what happened was I love what Ali said. He said it many years ago, and I thought about it as I've gotten older. It says, if a man of 20, if a man of 50 still acts the way he did at 20, that man has wasted 30 years of his life. That's I'm a long way from where I once was with that. So for us, I think we as a people need to get together and understand that tolerance and acceptance are different. I'm going to tolerate it. I'm going to tolerate it.
Gotcha.
But the acceptance, meaning I want it for me and mine, is not something I want to do.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, it seems that if you do talk, like you said, if you do talk negative, you're going to get crucified on. Regarding that.
I'm gonna talk negative about straight people too. I feel like we are straight people. I feel like this here. I've come to the realization that I think gays have a right to be as miserable as straight people, and they've proven it.
Absolutely.
They've proven it. They are. Because I'm gonna tell you right now. Look at some of these marriages, these high dollar marriages. Boy, these motherfuckers gonna went sideways quick. And boy, look here. They just as woo. But hey. We finna sign off. I thank you for calling in. Thank you for calling in. Come on back. Come on back. Thank you. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I think we had a good discussion. Thank you for coming and experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell. I am Nate Campbell. I want you guys to watch this on the YouTube, LDL TV Live. I want you guys to go check it out. Tell your friends about it. Put your questions and your comments at the bottom, and we will address those at a later date. Next week is going to be a whole nother topic. We're going to have some fun. We're going to laugh. And at the end of the day, we're going to work our way through it. It's your man, Nate Campbell. Peace.
You're watching Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell, the only show streaming live on Ustream, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live.
Tell me, Kenny, How is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's home Florida barbecue rub and seasoning. Grab a bottle today.